What do you feel about Bitcoin? I want to hear from you in the comments, your perspective. Do you think it is a great investment? Do you think it's really risky? Is it something that it's new to you and you're just on the sidelines and wondering if you should go in? Or are you just curious and you think whoever's involved in the space is a total fool? I'm Joanna Garzetti. This is Crypto Angel Network. And let me just say this, that my parents think that I am absolutely stupid because I have Bitcoin. They think it is a total mistake. I don't feel that way. Maybe they're going to be right. Maybe they're going to be wrong. I don't know if you have gone through a similar journey in terms of what your loved ones think of you when you talk about Bitcoin, that they just think it's some type of a cult or that it's like going to Las Vegas. But the deeper I dive into Bitcoin, the more I do not feel that this is just some type of fad. I recently got certified in blockchain. I study, research Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies several hours a day. And I feel really, really strongly that this is a no-brainer right now. Even, let's say, if one's just coming to Bitcoin with the price today, where it has been around 49,000, and that in the past, yes, a few months ago, it was 20,000. One could say, oh, well, is one late? Not at all. And we'll talk about price predictions in a moment as well. But I just want to show you, I did do a trade today, and I just want to walk you through what I did, my thinking with that, just so that if someone says, oh, well, Bitcoin is just, it's so highly speculative. I think that the idea that it's highly speculative, yes, a few years ago, but now we have so many institutions going into the space more than ever. Now, one of my family members said to me that I had no right to be in that space because I'm not an institution. And that's what I love about cryptocurrency. That's what I love about Bitcoin, is that for someone like myself who doesn't have a massive amount of money to just go and open with some stock, a brokerage, this allows me to have some. And let me just go and share my screen now, because my family member said, well, how did you get it? Do you have to buy a whole Bitcoin? Because sometimes when you get an account, you do have to, let me just hop over here to Coinbase. You do have to have, with a brokerage, you have to buy a whole Bitcoin. So I explained, I went on an exchange and I bought a small amount of Bitcoin. I've done dollar cost averaging of that Bitcoin. And thankfully, all the way through, my Bitcoin has been profitable. I do my best through dollar cost averaging to buy on the dips. I've done that most of the time. I've done that relatively well. I feel good. And I'll show you afterwards briefly that thankfully I am still in profit. And let me just see what I wanted to say with that. Oh, yes, the fees. So then my family member asked, well, the fees, what are you paying for the fees? 0.25% is what I paid in fees. And they sounded quite surprised. And that's because I use Coinbase Pro, and the fees are less than there. If you use Coinbase and just do a market buy, the fees on there are 1.5%. But that is the advantage to do a limit buy. So earlier today, let's just see. I'm just showing you the charts here. And you can see right now we're at 48,519. So after I watched what I watched yesterday, and again, with this dollar cost averaging of just putting a certain amount in each month, although at this point, I'm probably going to just hold on with what I have and then earn some more and keep building up in our checking account. And, because one wants to be smart, you don't want to put in more than one can afford to lose. because it's important to pay one's bills, right? To be responsible. And I'm just sharing here my personal journey. This is not investment advice, okay? If you look back to my first video, Crypto Virgin, where I've just new to the space, but I've been learning very, very quickly because I educate myself each day. So I'm going to show you something else in a minute of more of my research of why I decided to go and just make sure that I'm just under, look, let me just show you this. Let me just go to my orders. Hang on a sec, filled orders. So here, so in the end, I ended up getting the Bitcoin at 48,288. I got just over 1% of a Bitcoin with that. And let me just go back here to trade. Actually, I'm going to go over to this chart on Binance. So hang on, where was it at earlier today? Let's see. When I was looking this morning. This was where I was looking this morning. It was around 50. It like hit a high briefly of just over 50,000. And then I thought to myself, okay, let's see if I'm going to go over here to this other chart. If the top, which was all the way back over here, I'm not going to go to that because I just want to stick with this right now. Recently, we hit an all-time high of 58,200. And then I looked at today, we were just over 50,000. And when I hopped on to look at the charts, it was 49,500. And then I decided, okay, well, with the $500 that I have, where am I going to buy in at? How low is it going to go? And there you could see here, this was a support line here at around 48,700. And then there was another support line at right over here at 47,250. So I did my numbers. I thought, okay, well, I'll put in for 47,000, which I thought if it started to break down, which it did start to break down, right? It was here, like right around here. It started to go down, down, down very quickly. But that happened over a period of a few hours. So I had to go, okay, at 49,500, is it even going to go down to 47,000? At this point, it hasn't, right? It's at, where were we at there? We were at, it's easy to see on here, just over 48,500. And it went down to, in the end, it went down to, today it went down to 40, right at the bottom was 47,520. So I was just over 500 off of that. That's the hard thing. It's sometimes knowing when it's going to bounce, whether one's being greedy or not. Now, look, I mean, it's going to go back up to over 58,200. I believe by March 31st, we will have touched 70,000, maybe even 75,000, and then we'll retrace. But it's not going to be, if it were to go down to even what I bought at today, 48,288, it's just going to touch on that. Right now we have, this to me looks like a falling wedge, but it's not at the bottom of it. So are we going to go lower? Are we going to go down to 41,000, 42,000? Some experts I've heard say 38,000. I just don't see how we're going to go down to 38,000. I don't even know if we're going to go down, and maybe it could break down to 41,000, just if some of these miners go and do a massive dump or there's some type of manipulation. But I think it would be for a moment. You would have to go and set up a limit buy to go and do that. But the way that I sort of looked at doing my pricing, and I don't think this will show on camera, like sort of how I write down. Let me just see if I can, let me just stop the screen share and let's see if it actually shows up. I don't know if you can see this. This was on the back of my, hang on a sec. This was on the back of my, can you see this? Hang on. Oh, dropping it. Oh my gosh, this is what happens with Zoom. Safeway, my Safeway receipt. Look at this, looks like some type of ghost or something. Back of my Safeway receipt. And that was here. Let's see if I can go here. There we go. Can you see that? I don't know, you might have to pause the video on there. Oh, there it went. Come back. There. See, you can always go back and pause this afterwards just to look at how I made my decision around doing that buy. Okay, so let me just explain it to you. So yeah, so it was 49,500. How do I even know? You know, again, I went for the 47,000. That didn't happen. Sometimes it's really hard to tell. And this is what I see with these experts saying, well, we're waiting for confirmation. It could break out or it could break down. So I feel pretty happy that I got 48,288 because my prior buys, when I'd say had bought right at the bottom of the dip of 30,000 a number of weeks back, I just don't see how we're going to go back to 30,000 again. I'll be shocked. It would take some major type of event. So yeah, so I'd written down 48,700, 47,500, 45,900, 43,300. Those were all the different support lines. And let me just go back again to the chart. Those were, and again, if I do this, it's going to mess up on the screen for me. Actually, I'm going to do it. What the hell? Let's see if I can do this. Those were all the different, this is what happens with it. Those were all the different support lines that were there. See? So I went all the way back to here. 43,300, right around here, where we got 45,900. 47,500, because these were like very thin sort of wispy candles. So 47,500, and then knowing the top, right at the top was 58,200. So I just didn't want to be greedy with it. Then I took my calculations and I worked out on a limit buy. If I go in at 47,000, I'm going to get, what was it? It would have been 0.108 or 0.63 of a Bitcoin. And we're sort of trying to figure out. Then it's like getting into the nitty gritty of it. It later on it won't matter so much, especially won't matter when it goes to 90,000 and 100,000. So I think that right now a worst case scenario is, are we even going to come down and break down right now? This to me looks like we are going to break out very soon. We're just outside of here. I will be surprised. Yes, we might come back down. Like again, I tried to get in over here, right over here at 47,000, because I thought, well, maybe it'll retrace back down to here. And like I said, I was just off of that. So I missed the boat on that and went in at 48,000, just over 48,000. And then, yeah, now if it doesn't have the support there, yes, it could come all the way down to 43,000. But I think that, let's see, where are we at right now? It's almost 5 p.m. What is it? 5 p.m. Arizona time. What's that in? 7 p.m. Eastern time. I think later on this evening, we're going to start to break out again and go to the upside. And then is it going to break through this sort of around this 52,000 level, or, you know, is it going to, I mean, I think it's got to go back up to over 50,000, maybe 52,000 today. And then later on this week, we're going to start to go really more to the upside again. I feel like we're on the tail end now of this whole sort of struggle for Bitcoin. But right now, all the institutions are buying on the when retail sells. And I want you to take a look at this. I was listening last night to Michael Saylor. I watched this video here on the Bitcoin macro strategy. Oh, this one here, not this one. Sorry, I watched number 2. And that blew my mind because since getting blockchain certified and starting to understand more and more of the workings of Bitcoin, that it's something that we're at the early stages of mass adoption of it, that it is being used in hardware, that from what Michael Saylor's talking about, what he was pitching. This was what, and I mean, he had so many institutions buy into his treasury fund because he's saying, here, launch these new products. Go and launch financial products using Bitcoin, and you're going to make 200% each year. He said every year for the last 10 years, when you average it out, it's 200% a year. And one of the things that stood out to me was he said, I'll come back to this. One of the things that stood out to me that he said was, you've got someone that they just want to play it safe. They'll say, okay, I'll take a 10% return by investing into the fund, and I'll have that at a fixed rate. Meanwhile, you as the institution selling that financial product, you can make 170, 180, even up to 200% return. And then you just pay out that 10% to them. You're having massive gains. So that was one of the products that he was talking about. That's what the institutions are doing. And because people, again, yes, it takes courage to go and do this. Yes, it takes them to go and have depth of vision to go into Bitcoin. And when you and look, I'm not even early with this. I mean, this is the beginning of sort of DeFi. I know there's people who are in years and years earlier, but I do feel we are right at that point of mass adoption of this. And this is where I've been told that I'm a fool and that I'm a gambler. And I just know that's not the case. I look at things, I do my due diligence. I look at that. That's why I got certified in blockchain, because I want to understand. I just got certified I got my for the digital assets. I'm going to do another video on that because some of you have asked about for US citizens for digital assets for taxes. And there's some very important. So I look at each trade that I do and everything, the way I'm invested. I'm looking at then what are the repercussions? What is the tax on that? Because in the past I was foolish and blind in my actions, where I would just go into things and I just be like, because I come from a spiritual background, oh, well, my guides are telling me this, so I'm just going to go blindly into that thing, or a Pollyanna outlook of only positive news and only the upside. And that led me to make mistakes where I trusted people I shouldn't have trusted. And I just made stupid decisions. I also made really smart decisions too. But in this instance, I feel good. I do not feel I'm gambling, and I feel like I'm making the right choices. And that's really hard to be told, well, I don't care that you're certified in these things, or it doesn't mean anything, or you just, you're not an institution. You shouldn't be in that space. It's bloody painful. It hurts. It's frustrating. And it doesn't even matter. Even say a year or 10 years from now, let's say that portfolio that I have is higher, which I believe it will be, and I will at a certain point take out profits, because there will be massive retracements. I believe there'll be massive retracements later in 2022. Some people are going to get really, really wiped out from this if they try and go in and speculate when the market is just going absolutely crazy. Because it's going to be, if you look at Crypto, he posted that tulip diagram, the one of when the institutional investors go in and then all retail goes in like crazy. But it's not, retail has not gone in a massive way yet. It's still the institutions. And so please watch this video, this specific one, video number 2. Or just listen, or you can just listen to it. I don't know, when you're doing something, driving, cooking, cleaning, whatever you're doing. Sometimes I just put stuff on just to listen to it. And he gives a brilliant example of about inflation. And this is why all the institutions are going in, because how currencies are going to be devalued more and more in the next 10 years, because countries keep printing more and more money. And, so that part of his strategy with that is all based off of leveraging and borrowing. And I mean, that's you've got to be really sophisticated to do that sort of stuff. And that is the type of things that corporations do professionally with lawyers and accountants and all of that. I'm just looking at a simple crypto investing strategy. I want to, I wonder if I can pull up from my coin tracker here, just to, I'm not sure if this screen will come up. Maybe let me just see if I can go to it hang on, let me just pull it up from here. Coin tracker. Where's my coin tracker? Wait a second, hang on. How do I get into this? Where's my coin? There we go. Here we go. Bear with me. So, I'm going to do a separate video on all the tax stuff with this that is really important. Let me just show you with Bitcoin a sec. This just shows, so look, I just want you to see, from here. Bitcoin. Right, so it's 48. So that's what I love with this software. It's 48,534. My average, even though I bought in around after I'd sold some 23,000, 24,000, the different points that I've brought in at on my Bitcoin have averaged out. Right, I have an average. Let me just move this over here. I have an average cost basis of $33,737. That would be like my average on this. So that's why it shows I'm up 12.74% overall on this. And, so there's still a gain. For me personally, maybe I'm absolutely delusional. I just don't see how this is a huge risk when I see institutions going in here. And, so here, if I were to go and just transfer from my exchange account, from my Coinbase, most of it's in Coinbase, little bits in Binance US, I would be taking out profits of $1,952.76, which then I would have to pay my capital gains tax on. And I'll share more about that in a separate video that I'm going to do very, very soon. So, it's still good gains that are there. And so I did have a third of a Bitcoin, then I put it into Graph, and that's another whole thing. But so I'm just shy of a tenth of a Bitcoin, almost, right there. So I think in the next few weeks, what I have here is going to be more. It's going to go up. I don't know. You let me know your thoughts of what you think of. And then here we go. Look, I like this as well. I like this in the coin tracker here. You can see in the past day it was down. Well, that's good because I bought on a dip. Right over here. Right in this dip just below, between there. Now it's going up a little bit. So let's just, before in closing, there are, like I said, some of the resources. Let me just move this. This is where it gets tricky for me with Zoom. Hang on. I just want to take another look here. So, where are we going right now? It says 48,930. Yeah, it looks like it's starting to go back up again. And I think like I'm a little bit I'm a bit hesitant. I was a bit hesitant to sort of share because sometimes like I'm just processing it all and making my decisions. But I guess I'm just really bummed out because last night I was so excited when I watched all of Michael Saylor's stuff. I've watched a number of his interviews in the past few weeks. I follow his stuff. Because I just see he's so prolific. And another thing that I think is fascinating, and I'm not going to go into this space now. I'm going to just play it safe, although Most people, my family members like, play it safe with Bitcoin. Like, are you delusional? No, I'm not delusional. I am visionary. That NFTs, Michael Saylor gives an example in an interview he did recently where he talked about how he sold a URL. He sold voice.com for $30 million. And that's something that's not tangible. His reasoning was A, he didn't need the money, and B, that if you do a search term for voice, it has over 5 billion searches, and that there's only one voice.com in the world. And I think that comes back to his idea that he said of how he went and got into Bitcoin is because Bitcoin is so, it's limited. There's a limited supply. There's only 21 million Satoshi, and it gets harder and harder to mine. But it's being built into hardware. Bitcoin is the foundation of the future of finance and efficiencies in finance. I mean, in 10 years, if we're not a cashless, I'd be surprised if we're not a cashless society. That's what we're moving towards entirely altogether. And we're moving towards global currency. I just don't see how it's not going to happen. And, to the best of my ability, I am going to watch if something that of course, it can all go back down to zero. But I just don't see that happening. I just don't. So what do you think? Do you have Bitcoin? How much Bitcoin do you have? How risky do you think it is? Are you planning to just hodl it like where I'm hodling it and hold it for the long term? So for the next 5-10 years, are you going to take out profits on the way up, which I might take a little bit out, but I don't know yet. I need to just see more of how DeFi develops. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And when did you come into Bitcoin? What is your relationship with it? How do your family members and friends or co-workers, how do they feel about it? How do they look to you around it? So I would like to have a conversation with you about that. And it was definitely as hard for me going and sharing around this. But I said I'm going to be here with my crypto journey. And gosh, I hope I don't want to lose the relationship with my loved ones. But at the same time, it's fine when you're sitting there with a lot of money in the bank and you can just say, yeah, whatever. But I want to work in this space. I want to do trading. I want to do stuff in blockchain. So that's the risk I'm going to take. And I have to believe in myself. Just like, we have to make our own decisions and be responsible for them. So whatever happens, whether I make a whole load of money or I lose everything again, well, I'm going to have to live with that. I can't blame anyone. I have to be 100% responsible. And that's it. I'm Joanna Garzilli. I know this was a little bit of a serious one, but thank you for sticking with me. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to Crypto Angel Network. We are moving towards 500 subscribers, and I thank you for each one of you who is already subscribed and who engages with me and likes and comments. I appreciate you so much, so very much. And with that being said, the last thing I want to say here before I hop off, I just want to acknowledge a couple of people who have, who have shared here. Bear with me a second. Hang on a second. Mando. Jordan has been amazing. Max. Luis. Joshua Werner. You have been incredible, and I really appreciate how much you have been encouraging me to keep showing up here. Bob Borges. Andreas from Austria. Elias Yassin, Hallie Hawk. I mean, I got so many of you, and I want to feature some of you in the future as well. I want us to be able to have more of a conversation and include people who are active here within the Crypto Angel Network community. So thank you so much. And I am sending you lots of love. And remember to subscribe because I have some new really useful videos coming for you very, very soon.